I have the honor of introducing Zach Bodner, Chief Executive Officer of the Oshman Family Jewish Community Center of Palo Alto and the founder of the Z3 Project. Please, Zach.
Thank you. Toda rabah. Good afternoon. First of all, thank you for inviting me to be on this stage with such tremendous thought leaders like Micha Goodman. Micha, once again, you knocked it out of the park. Thank you. Really. Always hard to follow Micha. But there have been so many wonderful speakers today. I just want to thank the organizers, Haaretz, Hebrew University, the Sochnut, and of course the Ruderman Family Foundation. Thank you for putting this together. I mean, you don't know, for an American Jew to look out on this crowd of 2,000 Israelis here to talk about this issue of Israel diaspora Jewry and our relations, it's really empowering. It's really uplifting for us because we realize we're not the only ones worried about this. So thank you for being here. I've been asked to talk about my Judaism. I want to take you back to a moment, to fall of 2000, October of 2000. I was sitting in my office in downtown San Francisco, and I overhear some noises outside, some racket, some chanting. I look out my window, it's overlooking Market Street, the main thoroughfare in downtown San Francisco, and it looks like there's a pro-Palestinian rally going on. So we go outside, we go downstairs to get a little closer, and sure enough, Palestinian flags, but they're chanting, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free." And they're burning Israeli flags. They're burning Israeli flags in the middle of San Francisco, California, in the middle of the United States of America. This is not just a pro-Palestinian rally, this is an anti-Israel rally. And I got so wound up, I wanted to rush in there and rescue this Israeli flag, but my buddy held me back. Probably wasn't smart, probably wasn't safe. We waited for the march to move on, and then I went in and picked up this tattered, charred remnants of an Israeli flag. I brought it back with me. I hung it up on my office wall, and it remained there as a reminder of what we're fighting for and what we're fighting against. You see, I'm an American Jew who loves Israel. I'm a Zionist. I was raised in Southern California as a Chiloni Jew, very reformed. We call them H2O Jews, high holidays only. You have this term out here? My Jewish identity was very secondary to me. My primary identity was a soccer player. That's who I was. I wore the track suits, the Adidas shoes. I had the soccer player haircut of the day, a mullet. I had a big gold soccer ball necklace. I was a soccer player. But then I came to Israel on my first trip when I was 16 years old. This was long before Birthright. It was an 8-week trip, and it blew me away. This place changed me forever. I realized this is my home. These are my people. You are my people. That's right. And my identity changed. I realized my primary identity was as a Jew. So I bought another necklace, a big old gold Magen David. I wore them both. So by the way, I fit right in. When I came back 4 years later to study here, Har Tzofim, study at Hebrew University for my junior year in college. I played soccer with Hapoel Yerushalayim, and with my 2 gold chains, I fit right in, let me tell you. Static V'Ben-El had nothing on me. It was a transformative experience. I met my Besheret here. Now my wife, Ronit, and I, 25 years later, have 3 wonderful kids together. And a lot has changed in those 25 years between then and now. But one thing hasn't. The thing that hasn't is my love for the Jewish people, my obsession with the Jewish people. I have made it my cause in life for 25 years. I've worked in academia. I've worked in politics. I've worked with NGOs and now in the nonprofit sector to make sure the Jewish people remain one. That is what I'm working on. But folks, it's not easy. In fact, I think it's getting a little harder. Ever since roughly 2000, the turn of the century, more and more American Jews, unfortunately, are defining their relationship with Israel by the areas of disagreement they have. Right? American Jews are finding policies that they have issues with, mainly 2, Israel's treatment of the Palestinians and the Rabbanut's treatment of non-Orthodox Jews. And more American Jews are becoming publicly critical of that. And that wasn't always the case. Public criticism was resigned to the fringes of American society, and it's moving into the mainstream. And that's causing divisions within American Jewry. Now we're fighting amongst ourselves, right? The left versus right, the Orthodox versus secular, Democrats versus Republicans. It's becoming more and more challenging. And so as American Jews are wagging our fingers at Israel over these policies we disagree with. Many Israelis, you're looking at us and you're shrugging. You're going, you're not even going to be Jewish in a generation, right? Because of assimilation, anti-Semitism, because, as some of your leaders have said, because intermarriage is the next Holocaust. Why should we listen to what diaspora Jewry says? We are talking past each other, and it must stop. We need to find a new way to engage. We need to rise above our differences. We need to transcend the issues that divide us and start talking about what unites us. Folks, we're living in an historic moment. Do you realize this is the first time ever in the history of the Jewish people when there's been both a strong Jewish homeland and a strong Jewish diaspora, focused mainly in North America? It's never been like that before. It's been one or the other. But we're living in this moment where these two strong centers of Jewish life are making invaluable contributions to Jewish destiny. And we don't know how to engage with each other. We need a new ideology, what we're calling Zionism 3.0. Why 3.0? Because Zionism 1.0 was the pre-1948 Zionism of the pioneers, of Herzl, of Achad Ha'am, of Rav Kook. It was the Zionism that would save us from anti-Semitism. We would have our own sovereign state with a Jewish army that could keep Jews safe. And then in 48, it became a reality. And that became the beginning of Zionism 2.0. The Zionism of the builders, of Ben-Gurion, of A.D. Gordon, of David Hartman, of those who said, we're going to drain the swamps, we're going to defend ourselves, we're going to build a sustainable society. It was the Zionism defined by diaspora negation, right? That there's only a future for Jews here in Israel, and if you stay in the diaspora, you actually have to support us. It was the Zionism of the rich American uncle, that those American Jews who didn't have the chutzpah to make Aliyah, we had to support Israel unequivocally with our financial support, political support, diplomatic support. But now Israel is strong and secure. And there's also a strong American Jewish community that's making contributions to the future of Jewish life. Both of these centers are changing the future of Jewish history. We're changing the course of history. Can't we find a way to work together? To find a way to contribute to each other? To find a way to make it about the things that are great, not just that enhances each other's security, but also that enhance each other's spiritual and cultural future. We have a shared common destiny. Jewish peoplehood, Amiyut, is what defines our future. Now, I'm not talking about no differences. Come on. This is about unity, not uniformity. We've always disagreed. We always will. It might take the Mashiach to get us to agree. And by the way, even then I'm not sure. We saw that once before, right? He's the Mashiach, he's not the Mashiach. But even Joseph and his brothers, come on, didn't agree. Sadducees and Pharisees didn't agree so much. Even Hillel and Shammai couldn't even agree on how to light the Hanukkah candles. Right? We saw in our darkest moment during the Shoah, we had Jewish partisan fighters in the forests and Jews sitting on the councils in the ghettos, and they both thought they were doing the best thing for the Jewish people. The founding of this state, the Irgun and the Haganah. I'll tell you a story. You heard that my wife's name is Ronit. Two Israeli parents, very different Israeli parents. My father-in-law, born here, Palestine, 1938. His family came over from Saloniki, Greece. A very conservative Sephardi family, big supporters of Begin, of Jabotinsky. My father-in-law remembers bribing the British soldiers during the Mandate to sneak contraband to the Etzel fighters. He remembers standing on the beach and watching the Haganah sink the Altalena. Those memories are seared in his brain. And yet he went on to marry a nice Ashkenazi girl, daughter of a German mother, a Czech father, big supporters of Ben-Gurion and the Haganah. Talk about intermarriage, guys. It's a different time. But even in that moment, Ben-Gurion and Jabotinsky used to exchange letters saying, I will always be here in friendship. I will always be here for you in brotherhood. They exchanged letters because they understood at the end of the day they're brothers. And that's the relationship I want to talk about. We are family, brothers and sisters, siblings. It's even stronger than marriage because brothers and sisters can't get divorced. You might want to throttle each other from time to time. But that's the future of the relationship we're talking about. And it starts with a conversation. It starts with listening to each other. We have to listen. So that's what we've been doing in Palo Alto for the last 5 years. We built a conversation. Zionism 3.0. It's called Z3 for short. And it's built on 3 principles. Number 1, unity, not uniformity. We have people from all different walks of life. We have a variety of opinions. We have left, right, center. We have Orthodox. We have Chiloni. We have Haredi. Democrats, Republicans, we want a space where everyone can talk to each other. The second principle is that we don't want to talk just to ourselves, so we're bringing in Israelis. This is a diaspora Israel conversation. We have partners here that are doing amazing things on the ground to change the way that Israelis see diaspora Jewry. We're bringing them in because I bet most of you could care less what a bunch of Jews in Palo Alto think, right? But we're talking to each other, Israelis and diaspora Jews. And the third principle is that we transcend our differences. We transcend our differences. We're rising above. This model is now taken off across the United States, and other JCCs and synagogues and federations are asking us how to have this conversation. If you're interested, talk to me afterwards. I'm happy to have you part of this movement. The Z3 movement is about building a big, broad coalition of people who share this idea that we need a new paradigm in how we communicate with each other. I'll just end with this. I want to see, by a show of hands, how many of you in the audience, don't be shy, I know Israelis are really shy, by a show of hands, how many of you know that we have a different dreidel in America than you have in Israel? Okay, a lot of you know, but not all of you. Yeah, we have a different dreidel, because of course your Po is our Sham. Nes Gadol Haya Sham for us, right? If that doesn't embody the differences between us, I don't know what does. So last year at our Z3 conference, which we did during Chanukah, we created a new 5-sided dreidel. Nes Gadol Haya Sham and Po. And that's become the symbol for the Z3 movement because great miracles are indeed happening here and there. The future of Jewish life is being built here and there. Here and there, we can do this together. In the words of Theodor Herzl, if we will it, it is no dream. Let's will it together. Thank you very much.